Saint-Gobain is probably one of the companies that understood the challenge that we are facing. We meet them in several processes where they do really try to create full circularity. I'm impressed. Today we'll listen to Oskar talking about the importance of recirculation of flat glass.
So, why am I here? I've been working in the glass business for 25 years last week. And since 2019, I've been working increasingly on sustainability questions. And that is linked to the pledge of Saint-Gobain to decrease the carbon footprint of the company by 33% in 2030 from the 2017 level, and not counting any growth, but the absolute numbers. And the glass business, we talked about the gyprock and how much carbon it uses. The flat glass division is almost 30% of the Saint-Gobain carbon footprint. So we need to move from doing pilots to really doing something. And the word cullet is up there. Cullet is basically broken glass. It's necessary to know if you want to listen to me. And glass as gypsum is infinitely recyclable. But looking at today, 95% of glass goes to landfill. It's essentially too difficult to recycle, too cheap. I'm talking about recycling, but this whole case is also doing reuse. And to put it like really briefly, interior glass is usually has the possibility to be reused, whereas exterior glass is normally put together with glue and stuff like that, so easier to go for recycling. By recycling the material, we reduce the amount of building material to landfill, which you talked about. I'm horrible with names. We also reduce the consumption of primary materials. I've learned that if you say you love virgin material, it's more me too to say I love primary materials or do not love it. How do we say it? Anyway, we save 1,200 kilos of raw material, primary materials, with 1,000 kilos of cullet. Also, since 1,200 kilos boiled to 1,000 kilos takes a lot of carbon footprint, we reduce the carbon footprint a lot by doing this. And to show that we can use a lot of this, we've developed a product called Orai, where we go to, this is external cullet content, so 64% recycled material in this glass compared to a maximum of 15% today. So this has taken some development, but it now has an EPD, you can calculate it, and it shows that if we could get 800,000 tons of cullet every year, end of life, we can in fact, when we have the right energy source, we can make climate neutral glass, or it's probably the wrong word, but more or less. The problem is that glass scrap is cheap and it needs to be kept clean. So if you break a window into a container, it will release some metals. And those will contaminate the float and create like bubbles in it, so it can't be used. So that's a step. And looking at it a little more widely, if we talk about the LCA steps 1 through 4, the C1 is dismantling, C2 is transport to recycling, C3 is the actual recycling, and I never was able to grasp what C4 is. But anyway, it needs to be developed for glass because it's not there today. And the first crucial point is to do the inventory of the building. So inventory person is the waste diagnosis. We don't have people to do that today. So next week I'm in a meeting where we hopefully will set the date for the first training in Sweden for inventory people. And they need to learn a lot about different fractions of glass. Most of it can be recycled, but like fire glass, wired glass is really toxic, so we need to sort of get that out of the system. And also we need to facilitate that with a lot of manual tools like these stickers for recyclable, non-recyclable or almost recyclable, glass measurement equipment, and also a lot of digital systems to be able to feed this into an app that can become a tender. so that we don't just do pilots where people say we'll pay for it, but that we can actually get a cost for what it's going to cost to recycle it. So the next step is taking it down and then bringing it to the recycling station. And that has a lot of different, you can watch this on the rerun if you don't have time to read the slides and then freeze it. So, but it's a lot of different things that need to be sorted out to see what is the cost. And Ragn-Sells together with Skanska has, for instance, done this pilot in Stockholm, the Snäckan project on Södermalm, where the glass was sort of taken down, repacked, and then taken to the next step, which is the recycling. And there, a critical thing that I was really worried about was the dismantling. I've been in production, I saw the machinery developed for crushing glass, and it was too expensive, too heavy, too difficult to use and transport. So luckily, we have the young generation there. So last year, the European champion of the European champion of young entrepreneurs, a 19-year-old Emil Falk, he was able to drum up money and create the lightweight, efficient machine for breaking glass. This is a whole new way of doing it, and it sort of cracks the case of getting a lightweight machine that can even be brought to building sites in the end. And Ragn-Sells is building recycling for glass in Örebro, and next week I heard Emil Falk is coming there to install his machine. So it's actually coming to life there. So looking at the end also of the beginning, like the circle, traceability is something that we started discussing lately, that out of this inventory and into this recycling process, we need to bring back to the investor or whoever the amount of carbon dioxide saved, the amount of glass that went to recycling, to reuse, or to landfill. And that traceability also needs to be solved. So we have a lot of things running in Sweden and Norway right now. We're actually together with the United Kingdom and France, I would say we're the most advanced. And actually the inventory person training is the first one in Europe or in the world to be set up. And I'm happy to say that the Orai product that comes out of this, well, that is sort of the signal product of this, is being installed right now at the project in Masthugskaj in Gothenburg. So it's coming back to Sweden. So thank you. That was my message for today.